hearing an interesting story from a different person. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our weekly iTeraCare Discovery Call, where every week we hear a bit about the iTeraCare, which is a product by Price International, and we go into talking to someone who has had significant personal experience using the iTeraCare with the hope that this experience will be useful for you as well. This week, we are joined by Dr. Peter Bognot, who will be sharing his experience. I see you on camera. Hi, Peter. I see you. Nice to see you. I'll be calling you on in half an hour. Thank you so much. It is 5:30 a.m. right now. Thank you so much for waking up so early to join us. To anyone else who's happy to switch on their camera and join me so it doesn't seem like I'm talking to a screen, you are welcome. I see a lot of familiar names. A big hello to everyone. Hi to Tess. Hi to Jen. Hi to everyone else in this call. Join us on camera. Hi, Tess. I see you. Hi, Yilan from Malaysia. Hi, Ron. It's nice to see you as well. Okay, it's nice to have some familiar faces. I think Nora's joining us. Hi, Nora. So today we're going to be talking about the item. Hi, Leah Guerrero. I see you. So nice of you to join us. I Today we're going to be talking about the iTeraCare. And in talking about the iTeraCare, we are going to look at my perspective on the iTeraCare. So the iTeraCare is, I guess I suppose, a primer. For those of you who are joining in this call and you have no idea what the iTeraCare is, but someone just passed you the link, hi and welcome. Today, I'm going to be talking about this device that has taken the world by storm over the last 4 years, called the iTeraCare, that is sold by Price International, which is a company founded in Malaysia in 2021, and since then has built a global presence in over 80 countries worldwide, or in 80 countries and regions worldwide, as we have brought the benefits of this device to a lot of people. Now, there have always been many different ways of describing the iTeraCare. Like a lot of people tend to describe it based on the results that they have seen. A lot of people have spoken about it in terminology that could have been confused for medical terminology, but the iTeraCare fundamentally is not a medical device. It is a household electronic device that emits heat and terahertz frequency. And there's a lot of different perspectives of understanding this kind of technology, right? You can look at it from the perspective of a Western way of understanding the human body. But in this call, I would like to explore a traditional Chinese medicine perspective of understanding the human body and understanding what the iTeraCare does and why it does what it does. I present to you what I call TCM in 30 minutes. So just a heads up to everyone, I am not a TCM doctor or an expert, but in a way, you kind of don't have to be. The fundamental difference between what we now consider to be modern medicine and what has traditionally been known as traditional Chinese medicine is that modern medicine came out in a world where we have diagnostic tools. And because we have this capacity to use technology to look deeper into the human body, our focus has always been largely on diagnosis, where we focus on looking inside the human body, like, oh, you have a problem with your digestion, so we hyper focus on the stomach. Or you have a problem with your blood flow, for example, so we hyper focus on the heart. You have a problem with your breathing, so we hyper focus on the lungs. And we use technology to look deeper and target the disease and find the one cause that tends to be very symptoms based. However, traditional Chinese medicine is a compilation of knowledge that was compiled before human beings had diagnostic technology or any technology at all. So even from up to 5,000 years ago, traditional Chinese medicine came out because it understood patterns and not just symptoms. Traditional Chinese medicine is fundamentally a pattern recognition system that looks at balance, flow, function, and how all of these different symptoms cluster together. Because if you think about it, in the past, we did not have a molecular, medical, scientific knowledge of what's going on in the human body. What we had is patterns of imbalances, right? We had we focused on the pattern, we focused on what's going on, what are the different things that are happening, and we focus a lot on restoring balance and flow. So it was a very whole person view. And over the next 30 minutes, I'm just going to bring you guys through the core concepts of TCM. What do we mean when we talk about like yin and yang and the kind of effect that it has? What are the patterns that we can see, and how all of this relates to what we are talking about? So, traditional Chinese medicine, just as a primer, we're going to be looking at this one fundamental baseline understanding. If we look at the body as specific organs doing specific jobs, then we're not understanding what TCM looks at the body as. The TCM looks at the body as a pathway of flow where there are pathways in the body where everything is interconnected. So when we talk about the lung meridian, as you see in this image over here, pull out my pointer. There we go. When we talk about the lung meridian here, we're not talking about only the lungs. We're talking about a highway formed between many different parts across the body that together up and down form the pathway that is known as the lung meridian. Similarly, when we talk about the large intestine, we're not talking about a specific organ here. We're talking about a collection of different points through the body that interconnect and together form the meridian channel that affect the large intestine. So even though the words that we use here when translated into English, like the stomach and the spleen and the heart and the small intestine, could have a different specific meaning in Western medicine, like the small intestine refers to a specific organ, right? But in TCM, the small intestine meridian channel refers to a collection of points across the body that connect together, and through them, different things flow. So the things that flow in according to traditional Chinese medicine can be understood from from these perspectives. One of the first things, one of the most fundamental things that flows within the human body is qi. And qi is not a literal physical biological thing. Qi is a very, I want to say, metaphorical thing without having it lose any kind of importance, because metaphors are important, right? Like how you structure, how you understand something gives it reality. So chi is just the understanding that when you look at someone, you can see that some people are vital. They have a lot of energy, they have vitality. Everything in their body is active and moving. And some people are kind of not. They're just kind of like chill, quiet, kind of like there. So there's obviously something that flows within this body that affects your movement, function, your vitalities, that affects your body's energy. And they call this idea chi. Chi is something that flows within the body. And when chi is flowing well, then the energy is up. You have vital energy. You're feeling good. You're feeling active. Your body is healing its own diseases. You're doing good. But when your chi is low, that's when you're feeling the opposite of all of that. Another thing that exists within the human body is blood. And blood here is not literally blood the way we think about blood. It's not literally the thing with the hemoglobin that transports oxygen, that has plasma, all of that. It's more of this idea that this other thing that circulates within this body is this fluid that carries nourishment. It is circulation, it is of grounding. If chi is energy, then blood is substance. These are ideas and metaphors. And I say metaphors without in any way making none of this real, like unreal, because I think this is real. Like, I think that how you describe the body, the metaphors that you use to think about how something works plays a very literal foundational part in how that thing works. Like, even from a hermetic perspective, I suppose the all is mind, and in this mental construct that we live in, how you see the world plays a huge part in how the world works for you. So it's not like some people have a TCM body, some people have a Western body. It's not like some people have hemoglobin, some people chi. It's like, no, we all have the same fundamental body. Just the words we use to describe what's going on forms the structure of how we understand it. And TCM has been recognized as an equally valid way of looking at the body that fits together, that kind of matches everything that we know in Western medicine, but from a different perspective. This recognition is given by the World Health Organization. So even though I'm saying that these are metaphors, I don't mean that in disrespect in any way. These are literal metaphors, if that makes sense. So when we think about the concepts of yin and yang, we're exploring the concept of cold and hot. Yin being the energy of something that is cool, moist, inward, restful, something of substance, something of the full moon, something of night, something of the lotus rising, something that is a cool energy. And yang is just the description of your capacity of your thermodynamic capacity. Like yin and yang are in a way a thermodynamic balance, right? Like yang is the concept of warmth, of active, of outward, of functional moving. So it's just like yin and yang describe the thermodynamic balance within the human body. Jing is just the idea that human beings have reserves, that within us we have some capacity of storage of energy. And there are people with a lot of Jing that have deep reserve. They have constitution, they age gracefully, they grow well, they reproduce strongly. And because of that connection, Jing has sometimes been equated to like ideas of semen retention being part of like retaining Jing in the body, but TCM is not so literal. TCM is just a metaphorical idea of you having capacity, not a literal measure of like spilling your seed or anything like that. It is an idea and it's kind of like a platonic form, an idea that is more real than the real thing itself. Shen is the idea of like mind and spirit, of where your mind space is, of where your spirit space is, of where your consciousness lies, your emotional presence and calm within yourself. All of these are things that flow within the human body, and they're all lubricated by fluids because people have also noticed that no matter what's going on in your body, if you don't drink enough of this clear liquid thing, you feel like crap. So obviously, fluids are a very vital part of something that flows in the body that has to be replenished. And because wetness makes things moist and glide, we have come up with the idea that this has to do with lubrication within the human body. So Qi moves you, blood nourishes you, Yin cools you, Yang warms you, Jing stores your energy, Shen expresses your space, and fluids moisten the machine that all of this lives in. These are a way of looking at the body. So when we talk about yin and yang, it recognizes the idea that there are cool qualities and there are warm qualities, right? There are ideas associated with coolness and ideas associated with warmth. And a person who feels good is not in too much hot zone or too much cool zone. They kind of have a very steady flow and balance of the both. So they tend to lump different patterns that kind of fit together and kind of describe these, like they put these labels on them. Like for example, if you have someone who's like dealing with having a red face, a lot of thirst, irritability, constipation, burning sensations, what they're feeling tends to come across to them, even though this may not be a medical diagnosis per se, it comes across to that person as having excess heat. Similarly, if you're just feeling cold, which sometimes you do, your limbs are cold, your extremities, your hands and your feet are cold, your digestion seems very slow, you seem to be looking out for like a warm place, or you're wearing a hoodie, or you're just looking for someone to cuddle you, your face looks pale. This comes to you as excess cold. So even though like this, even yin deficiency and yang deficiency, and like having a deficiency of yin, or rather what they label as a yin deficiency, is just a collection of the symptoms of like dryness, night heat, night sweats, restlessness, insomnia. That because yin is associated with like night and like moist and cool and restful, having the opposite of that, right? Night heat, night sweat is like, hey, maybe you don't have enough of this thing. The cool thing that obviously has some kind of effect. Similarly, with Yang, these are just a collection of ideas of having a lack of that warmth and like vital energy or like outward active energy flowing out, where you're just feeling cold, fatigue, having low drive, watery stools, weak digestion. Like these are just metaphors and a way of looking at the body. So when you look at this and you try to understand the human body from this perspective, whether you're looking at yourself or you're looking at another person, this forms like a backbone of how you can identify patterns. Like, for example, if you can look at a symptom and you can think about whether this is a surface level thing or a deeper external thing. For example, if someone's having a cold, did they just like get soaked in the rain, or like are they like dealing with a much deeper virus? Like some of this you can know about, some of this you can't know about, but it's something to think about when you're dealing with an issue, whether this is an exterior issue or an interior issue. Another thing to also think about whether this is a hot or cold presentation. Like, how does it feel like for them? It's not what it looks like for you, it's how it feels like for them. Another, and also, I guess these are also metaphorically kind of good for life. Like, maybe another thing is like excess or deficiency, right? Like, are you dealing with excess or are you dealing with deficiency? And like, is whatever problem you're dealing with coming from having too much of something or too little of something. Like, for example, I don't know, you can have muscle pain by working out too much and tiring out your muscles too much, or you can have muscle pain by not working out at all, being completely sedentary and have your muscles rot away. And there's a word for it, I can't remember, but have your muscles just like deactivate themselves, I suppose, and like not having the strength to carry your body weight. Like, I don't know. These are just ways of looking at it. I'm not a TCM doctor. I'm just figuring this out along with you guys. Another way of looking at it within a TCM perspective is also whether it's a yin or yang thing. And hope what all of us recognize that all of these are not literal descriptions, right? These are all just ways of understanding what's happening in the human body, understanding that there is some kind of things that are flowing within the body, and we're trying to like figure out the vibe of someone and kind of figure out what it could be so we can start to address it. So there are imbalances that you will see again and again, whether in yourself or with other people. And if you recognize these imbalances, understand that these imbalances can be rebalanced by restoring that flow within your body. So, for example, just the vibe of being like all like jammed up, like you feel very stressed out, you have a lot of tension, you're sighing a lot, your mood swinging, you have chest or rib tightness, your body's kind of like crouched up, you feel stuck. Hi, baby. Much. So, this can be described by just seeing yourself as having stagnant chi, which is not a literal description, right? Yeah, yeah. Which is not a literal description, right? When you're talking about chi stagnation, it's like there's this vital energy that should be flowing, but it's kind of blocked. You feel all jammed up. And again, if you feel like you just have like low battery, you feel very tired, you feel a lot of fatigue, weak voice, shortness of breath, spontaneous sweating, poor digestion, and so on. This is just this vibe of like your battery being low. This is seen more as a deficiency of as a deficiency of chi. Like there's this vital energy within you, but you kind of don't have enough of it. Your battery literally is low. And I mean literally, figuratively, obviously, we're all on the same page on this one, right? These are not a medical descriptions at all. It's just how you feel put into the best words that you have. Another way of looking at it is like this one. Like if you're dealing with a lot of like pallor, meaning like you have a lot of pale face, like your face is pale, you feel dizzy all the time, you have dry skin or hair, feel numb, you're having poor sleep, your menstruation is irregular. This is described as blood deficiency. And again, I know I'm harping on this a bit too much, but just for clarity here, like blood deficiency is not referring to literal lack of blood in your body, because obviously you have blood in your body, right? But it's referring to blood as this flow of nourishment, and you have a lack of that. And that is also translated into this blood deficiency idea. Or even like blood stasis, like this, like your stuck circulation. This is not a literal description. Your circulation cannot literally be stuck, but it can feel that way. And that's what this refers to. It just feels like something is stuck in place. Another set of things that people can also feel is just feeling very clogged and heavy, which can also be described as having too much dampness in the body, which is just a descriptive term for this feeling of heaviness, sluggishness, and just being sticky, like having a lot of bloating, heaviness, and brain fog. And you can also feel like loose stools, water retention, a lot of fluid, just feeling clogged and heavy. Also being like a symptom of having a blockage in this flow in your body, or like having a lot of mucus, nodules, dizziness, cloudy thinking, and also your chest feeling very restricted, just feeling thick, stuck, and cloudy. This could be described as having a lot of phlegm, just having a lot of redness, thirst, irritability, feeling constipated, burning, yellow urine. This is described as having like an imbalance with heat, and the imbalance with cold is just a label put on these common symptoms of someone having cold limbs, pain that feels better when you apply heat on it, watery stools, etc. These are just ways of looking at the human body. So for you to think about yourself and the people that you meet as from the perspective of a TCM beginner, what you would do is think about the whole body as something that can flow and should be flowing. And it is the blockages within this flow that is resulting in these patterns that all kind of lump together. And when you can figure this out, then you can start to put it together and understand how you can deal with this and see how you can go from the patterns that someone is dealing with into the pathways in the human body, where you can start to now manipulate the pathways in the human body in order to free up of some of these blockages in the flow that you're seeing in these meridian channels. And working on these meridian channels ends up working on the human body. And it is this working on the human body that is uh, no one else is complaining about no audio, so I'm guessing that it's gonna be on your side. I hope you can figure it out. And just making sure you all can hear me. I'm sure you can. Okay. So understanding that all of these different symptoms come from some blockage in this flow. And when you can restore flow in this part of the human body, you're kind of working on these different parts. For example, like when you work on the spleen and stomach pathway, you're dealing with symptoms related to digestion, bloating, heaviness, and other things as well. Or you can look at it like, for example, if you're dealing with a lot of stress, like irritability and tension, you can work specifically on the liver gallbladder pathway. And if you have a lot like lower back pain or fatigue, you can work on the kidney bladder pathway. The patterns that you can observe and put together help you understand the points that need support and how you can manipulate the flow of chi in these points. So if you want to manipulate the chi in these points, if you want to work on your body from a traditional Chinese medicine bodywork perspective, you have some options, right? Obviously, you can do acupuncture, where hopefully, God bless, a trained professional will stick needles in specific parts of your body because meridian points are deeper than skin level. to stimulate those points in your body. They'll also use heat to kind of like loosen up the parts of your body before stimulating it by poking needles. If you don't know how to do this, if you are not a TCM expert, then obviously do not do this, right? It is not safe for you to do this casually. But if you're a TCM expert and you have access to needles, then like freaking go for it, stab yourself, right? Another way that you can work on it is like, for example, by like cupping, where they use vacuum pressure to kind of like draw up blood through specific parts on your back, also stimulating those points and like freeing up other kinds of flow in the body. I'm not an expert, don't ask me, ask an expert. You can also do massage or like scraping or like gua sha, for example, where they use like these rocks and they like are super rough on your body and your skin. Like I've seen videos of that that does not look comfortable, but that's also a thing that you can do to kind of like do myofascial release and like release things under your skin. You can also do massage, especially like the kind of massage where they kind of focus on these acupuncture points and they like stab it like with their knuckle and kind of like get things moving. These are all equally valid things that people do all the time. Where Thrive International has come into the picture is through our work with Professor Yang Wenjun, who is a terahertz innovator and product, is a terahertz researcher and a product innovator as well. So just in context, like terahertz is just the non-ionizing, it's a non-ionizing region of the electromagnetic spectrum. It's a frequency just like other frequencies, like radio frequencies, etc., like light, infrared, etc. But the frequency of terahertz can penetrate materials such as fabrics, plastics, fats, or ceramics with minimal attenuation, meaning minimal loss of energy. So this guy started working on started researching terahertz frequency wave health application way back in 2013. And in 2014, he actually invented the world's first human lightweight device. He has certifications and patents for this device. And in 2015, he founded the Deschang brand to help bring this device and this technology out to people. He was first making the devices and selling them on his own in China. And then in 2021, he partnered with Price International, that's us, for global market expansion. And we make this device available in around the world to anyone who wants it in a way that can give the introducer a source of income as well. What these devices are, these are not a medical device. These are wellness devices that emit heat and terahertz frequency. And if you've ever gone to acupuncture, you know it's the same thing. First, they apply heat on you and then they poke you with needles. But because the terahertz frequency can penetrate through fat, through the skin, through fabrics, you can be wearing a shirt and just waving this device over your shirt, and the frequency can penetrate through your shirt, through your skin, and stimulate that meridian point. So what this is an easy to use, handheld, comfortable way for you to work on your own meridian points, even without knowing anything about meridian points. This is a device that emits heat and terahertz frequency because helps to relax the area, and terahertz frequency is directed towards meridian points and pathways as part of this TCM approach to supporting flow and comfort. So how that works is like this. So according to TCM, all of these are the different, according to TCM, your body has these 12 fundamental highways that connect up and down your body, all of your organs, and are and flow in these pathways are responsible to keeping you feeling good, as well as these two superhighways, which is one that controls all of the yang meridians and one that controls all of the yin meridians running up and down your back. So when vital energy or chi flows well up and down in these highways, everything is good. You feel good. These are highways that connect more than 365 acupuncture points up and down the body. So according to traditional Chinese medicine, If you're dealing with like respiratory issues, low immunity, shortness of breath, or skin problems, it's a blockage in one meridian channel, right? Your lung meridian channel. Or if you're dealing with like fatigue and lower back pain and weak knee, it's a blockage in your kidney meridian channel. Or if you're dealing with like irritability, headache, or like poor digestion, it's a blockage in your liver meridian channel. And when chi flow is blocked, that's when problems appear. So the thing is, when you use the iTeraCare on the body, the iTeraCare is able to use terahertz frequency and heat to penetrate deeply into the body, warm the pathway, stimulate important points, and support the natural flow of chi. So by using the iTeraCare on the body on these meridian channels, you're able to restore the flow and get things to work again. But I hear you tell me already, I'm not a TCM doctor. I don't know anything about this. What am I supposed to do? Well, the good news is with the iTeraCare, you're not poking needles in your skin. Are kind of like from outside in a painless heat and heat and frequency way. You're just from the outside aiming this device and turning it on and pointing it. And you're not pointing it at specific meridian channels. You don't need to know where any of these points are because you're not poking needles at them. You're not scraping them. You're just getting to them from the outside, and the frequency blast is wide enough that you're hitting it. So the quickest and easiest way to hit your whole body is just to follow what we call the 10-step protocol, the simple iTerra routine. Drink 2 glasses of warm water before and after because your body needs fluids to help the flow. It helps your fascia and all of that. And just hit your palm for 2 to 3 minutes, the sole of your feet for 2 to 3 minutes, your backbone for 2 to 3 minutes, your head for a couple of minutes, your upper back, your neck, your armpit, your butt, your groin, and around the knees. Follow these 10 points in order. It's just this quick and easy way, and that's all you need to do to give your body a full on meridian pathway workout. But these seem like vague points, right? What are they doing? What these points are associated, oops, sorry. These points are not randomly selected, right? These points are specifically selected from a traditional Chinese medicine perspective. Like, why do we tell you to aim it at your hand? Because a lot of these meridians start or end in the hand. So when you're hitting the palm of your hands, you're not like sticking needles at a specific point in your hand. You're kind of like waving it and hitting all of these meridian channels that start and hand and end in the hands. This also, the stimulating your palm also helps you to regulate your heart, your pericardium, and your triple energizer meridians. Same by hitting the sole of your feet. We're not looking at specific points here. Don't even worry about it. Think about it like spray painting the sole of your feet, right? Because the sole of your feet is rich in acupuncture point and is connected to all organs. And hitting the sole of your feet warms your kidney meridian, improves grounding, sleep, and overall energy. Same with your backbone. The backbone holds the Dumai, the governing vessel. It runs along the spine. It is the seat of yang meridians that nourishes the yang energy in your body, that boosts your immunity and vitality. And a special focus, like in our traditional narrative, where we have described the flow of the Iteraka in the perspective of like blood flow and like stem cell stimulation and all of that. We've also really highlighted focusing on your backbone, stimulating your backbone up and down in order to get your body to start regenerating itself from within. Like I said, how we don't have a TCM body or a Western medicine body, it's the same body seen through different lenses. It's the same thing. Because if you look at the same effect from a TCM lens, the reason is big why you have that refreshing whole body regenerative effect when you use the iTeracare along your spine for like 2 to 3 months is because that's where, according to TCM, your bladder meridian is, and it's one of the longest meridian pathways in your body. And many of the 10 points go on that route directly or indirectly. So, like, it's a very important meridian point. So, the perspective that you carry into this doesn't change the effectivity of the device. All that the iTerra Care asks of you, like I swear to God, the majority of people don't use it. Like I ranted about this yesterday because someone asked me, don't, for the love of God, no one asked me this question. No one asked me, oh, I don't have enough time. I only have 10 minutes. Which points should I focus on? Because, like, bro, if you have cancer, are you gonna like cut your cancer treatment in half? If you have surgery, are you going to be like, oh, I only have 10 minutes. Can you just stitch up whatever? No, right? If you have like a car service, if your car needs to be repaired, are you going to be like, I only have 10 minutes, just like change half the oil in my engine? Are you going to do that? No, right? If it matters, you spend time on it. So you need to ask yourself whether your body matters or not. And if you think your body matters, then you need to use this device properly. Otherwise, you're going to waste your money. If you're not going to do it in these 10 points in this way consistently, each session is this, right? Each session is about 20 to 30 minutes, which is 10 points, 2 to 3 minutes per point. Like if you're a couple, do it for your husband, do it for your wife, do it for your partner, do it naked, make it cute and romantic, have fun with it. Like just find any kind of way that you can have to do this every day. Get a stand so you can like don't so you don't need to hold it, whatever. Pay someone to do it for you. I don't care. Just 2 to 3 minutes per area in a single session, these 10 points in order. That's 20 to 30 minutes, and at least once or twice a day, at least 2 to 3 weeks. Because if you do it, if you stimulate these meridian points in your body for enough times, you will unlock whatever that is stuck in your body and you will get it to flow again. And that will lead to a drastic improvement in your quality of life, which can be seen through a lot of things, whether a relief in discomfort, whether an improvement in like mobility, vitality, and a reduction of like any kind of symptoms you may be experiencing. This is not a medical device, but this is a way for you to stimulate your meridian points. And honestly, this is not a medical device because this is not curing you at all, bro, at all. Because, like, can you go to one acupuncture session and be healed? No, right? When you go to acupuncture, what's the guy gonna do? He's gonna sell you a series of treatment, right? Because he knows that it takes repetitiveness, it takes consistency to effect any kind of meridian level change in your body. Same with the iTeraCare. We're not scamming you here. This is not a magic wand. This is a tool that you can use, that you can do instead of going to acupuncture. It is a piece of technology that you can buy that if you use it consistently, the way we recommend it, you can see tremendous changes in your body only if you do it the way we recommend it as a system consistently for 20 to 30 minutes per session, at least once or twice a day, at least 2 to 3 weeks for you to see results that will blow your mind. Now, some people may see it faster. Like a lot of people see changes way before we get to a point where it takes like 2 to 3 weeks. Some people see almost instant changes. And in fact, the person we have sharing today, what a beautiful segue. The person we have sharing today is a person who has used this device in his own way that has allowed him to see incredible results. I don't want to spoil any part of his story at all. I just want to welcome Peter Bognot. Please come in. Please introduce yourself, good sir, kind sir. Please let us know who you are. Let us know your story. And if you want me to share any photos or share, by the way, he has written a song for Pride. We're going to play his Pride song at the end of this video. So I'm very excited to share it with all of you without wasting any of your time. Dr. Peter, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. And I am very grateful for this opportunity to share my journey again and again and again. I see a lot of familiar faces here, and I thank you for supporting our Zoom as well. I'm not gone. Okay, a lot of people are asking me if I was like not in Prife anymore, see if I was still alive. I'm here, well and strong, Okay, I'm actually doing a lot of face-to-face presentation lately, and I would say I had to go back to my, you know, to the things that worked for me from the start. Unfortunately, a lot of people in the U.S. are so busy. They don't sit for 30, 45 minutes in a Zoom. So I think the face-to-face presentation is actually even more effective than anything else. And I'm not afraid to do the work. As long as I have people in front of me, I am excited, and I'm here to share everything that I have, my stories, and and a little bit of perks as well. With what we actually have in the business. So again, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Moogie, for waking me up early. And I set my alarm clock very, very early. I think around 4, and I'm excited to see everyone again. Okay, and I'm so thankful to see you guys here in our
I'm loving your energy. Yeah.
Zoom. But anyway, maybe at some day you'll see me again back on Zoom every now and then. But right now, we really have so many activities going on. We just had our kicked off last Sunday. We had about 40 people there. We had this product gallery, and people were excited to use the MagnaSeek. We have these blowers. We have a lot of promotions as well here in the U.S. And people are really excited. We're actually meeting a lot of new people, and again, more people we see, a lot of people are going to get better for sure, 100%.
Exactly.
So,
Dr. Peter, sorry, quick one. I think there are quite a few people in this call who are actually meeting you for the first time even. I would love it if you can start
oh
with
yeah,
like
sure.
introducing yourself because I'm sure there are people who may not have met you before and they don't know your story yet.
Okay, so we're getting there. So anyway, my name is Peter. We live in Los Angeles for 47 years. I'm an old man, I guess, but I feel very, very strong right now. And work in intervention radiology is the busiest hospital in Los Angeles, and also one of the preceptor of all the doctors from UCLA and USC before they go to the lab. So I was busy, and again, it's something that I love to do, serving people. So I guess this is iTeraCare opened another door for me. So let me start with my little story. One thing I realized through the years, testimonials are often more powerful than presentations. Why? Because they are real life story, for real people. And I'm glad that I get invited to be here to share my story. And I have a beautiful wife, 3 kids, and I brainwashed my 2 daughters to be a nurse when they were kids. So they work at UCLA. And one thing about the story that people have, it impacts so many people. They will never forget a story of someone who suffered, who struggled, and almost gave up, and finally find hope again. And I hope you guys feel the same way. And most people can probably relate to that. The pain and health challenges and fear and desire to live a better life. That emotional connection is what makes the testimony so impactful to me, anyway. But it's not about convincing people, with perfect words. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to say the right thing. Just speak from your heart. And it is about sharing of genuine experiences as well from the heart. My mission is simple: share hope. Sometimes people just want to improve their quality of life. And after taking so many medications for years and they've been in pain for years, suddenly we have this incredible device that can allow them to get back to their lifestyle again. So, again, my mission means so much to me. I'm a lifer, I'm here for life to share my story until the day I die because this is the device that make me where I am right now. And you have no idea what I went through over the years. In the last 4 years, I suffered so many serious injury. 2019, I had to retire prematurely because I had a severe stenosis of my spinal cords. Pain. I can live with pain. I'm a strong man. I thought it was just like a regular back pain that could go away after taking a medication, but it's not. The pain went so severe to the point where I had to get an MRI and find out exactly what the heck is going on with my back. And I found out I have a severe stenosis on my spinal cords. So looking at my MRI, I knew I was done. I'll never go back to work again. And I don't know what else is there for me, but I took everything what the doctors told me. I took all the medications. I have like a small pharmacy here in my house. You're talking about gabapentin, Tylenol with codeine, Flexeril for my spasm. I did a lot of physical therapy 3 times a week, acupuncture, and epidural. I don't know if you guys know what epidural is. It's so painful, and it's supposed to last for 6 months. But for me, it only lasts for 3 months, and I had to go back and get another one again. And all of that, I would say they're all, FDA approved. You agree with me? Okay. But my condition did not improve, unfortunately. And, being in a medical field, I believe on evidence based medicine. There's nothing else better than I know to get better but to take medication. And that's what you get when you see a doctor, go to the clinic. They write a prescription, you run to the pharmacy, and guess what? You have to take those medications. Now, my diagnosis is really, to me, something that I can live for with pain. But I think what hits me the most is the stress, anxiety, and depression. 4 years of having this physical condition where at some point I can't even make it to the bathroom, you know. So when my wife leaves the house, and I take my medication and I get to stand up or at least drive to the market to actually get something, I figured I had to get my diapers on. I felt like I was dying because, the hope of to live again, it's like it's very dim. I don't know what else to do. Being very medicine, of course, you're gonna get better, but I was wrong. There's another way of dealing with life physically and mentally, and not medicine. And then when I found out that Albert Einstein said that frequency is the secret of medicine, then I totally believe that something is up there. So after 4 years of pain, suffering physically and mentally, somebody knocked on my door and it was a friend of mine. And he showed me this red hair dryer. And I said, what am I going to do with that? My wife had 4 of those and they're very expensive and I don't need another hair dryer here. So guess what? He could not explain to me how the device worked. He said just turn it on and blow your body, from your hand all the way down to your feet and charge some water, I guess, at that time. So that evening, after I used the device and I prayed that maybe this is the answer of my prayer that I've been praying all my life, that something is gonna come to my house and share something spectacular, something awesome, something powerful. And guess what? The next morning, I woke up and my arthritis were gone. Amazing, amazing device. I thought it was magic, but I know it was a miracle from God. I'm sorry, I get so emotional every time I talk about my story.
No, Dr. Peter, take your time. We're feeling emotional listening to it as well.
But this is something that I will definitely share to people. Imagine 4 years and just one evening using the device. My arthritis were gone. And I figured if I use this more than once a day, maybe twice, four, five, 6 times a day, I would get better. And I did. And after 4 months of using it, all my pains are gone. And my medications are gone. I haven't seen a doctor since I got better. The only thing I do is my blood test every year, and they're all perfect. And being 67 years old, I had no maintenance at all. I was very active, I was very busy, no maintenance. My only maintenance is my wife. High maintenance, sorry. But I always get a kick off every time I talk about my wife because if all of that happened to me in the last 4 years, she did not know what was happening to me. I didn't want to tell her exactly what I was going through because I know she's a warrior. I don't want her to suffer that pain I was going through. But thank God, and I believe that one door closes, another door will open for you. And I totally believe that. And I claim that victory over what God's promised. So anyway, after I got better, that was around COVID time from 2019 to 2023. I started going back in the church. For some of you who don't know, I've been serving the Lord since I was 5 years old, an altar boy. In high school, I started learning how to play guitar and became a choir director at the university. Came here in America, and the first thing I look for is the church to serve. And until now, I'm a choir director, instrumentalist, cantor, and I still serve the Lord for all the blessings He's done for me. So when I got better, went back to the church. Some of the old folks I know I did not see anymore. People were in crutches, wheelchairs, and could not walk. Now I was the one knocking on their door with my iTeraCare device, the classic device. That's all I had. I paid 380 in 2023. That was December, and I started using it for like 4 or 5 people every day, nonstop. And you know what? After like few months, these people are back in the church with no crutches and no wheelchair, and they're walking just fine. And I go, oh my God, this device actually worked. I thought I was the one who I just got the blessings, but my goodness, all these old folk, they're much older than me now. They're walking, and in the first month, I sold 50 devices without being in the business, just sharing my story. So the lady where we actually purchased the device told me, well, Pete, if you can share that story to people, and people are buying, you deserve to get paid. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not here to make money because I made that money in 42 years already. I'm just here to share. And that's what I did. I didn't care about the money. I was driving out there to places, sharing my mission, sharing my story, and people are buying, and after like probably around April of 2024, a good friend of mine who was a candidate for knee transplant also got better and started walking fine and did not need surgery anymore. Anyway, hold on, patting my Okay, that's fine.
What a wonderful story.
Yeah. Anyway, so we joined the business. He said, "Well, I'll join the business if I join the business." So and we did. I care less. They registered my name and all that. So and then we started really going at it. And in 1 year, we actually were on fire. And believe it or not, people are signing up not just silver; they're signing up as diamond. Every single one of them. In 1 year, I became a director already. You know, I care less about the status or the ranking or whatnot. And then 2 months after that, I became a Ruby director. Without me knowing it, I was just there to share the device. So a lot of people sometimes are looking for someone like you guys to share what you have on your hands. If you got better because of this device, guys, please, I'm going to put you on the spot. Share it. Share it like there's no tomorrow because this device actually works. You know, and I love seeing everyone here that are still in the business and sharing and all that. But sometimes it only takes that one person to be out there in somebody else's living room to make a difference in their life. You know, and believe me, I love what I do. This is like another mission, another door that opened for me. And oh my goodness, imagine after 4 years, my doctor said, you know, I'm going to dialysis. Imagine that, wheelchair bound and all that. Wow, I don't think I could take all of that. So the transformation that I had is something that I could share to people. And I'm sure you guys have the same story, maybe a better story. Even whatever story you have, it does not matter. What matters is you get to someone else's living room or maybe somebody at the mall or at the park. It doesn't matter. Meet people out there, guys. There's so many millions and millions of people who are looking for somebody like you guys. And if you don't share it, it's your loss. It's your loss because I believe the blessing is for us to share. It's not for us to keep. So a minute or two of speaking to someone will make a difference. So I encourage you guys to do this and share this iTeraCare, this wonderful iTeraCare device. And thank you, all of you guys, for listening to my story. And I know that we're running out of time. I have more story to tell, but I'm going to cut it
Take your
short
time,
right
Dr.
now. I don't
Peter.
want to bore everybody, but just get up there, guys. Get out there and go out there and share the device to people. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Boogie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter. I think your story has really touched a lot of people. Just going through the chat to see if we have any specific questions. No specific questions, just a lot of people who are truly moved by this experience. And I'm sure you're right. A lot of people have really good stories to share, and they should be sharing it. So if you have any questions for Dr. Peter, please drop it in the chat. Dr. Peter, you've sent me a series of photos. Would you like to walk us through them? Let me pull them up.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you have them?
Yes, do you see them on your screen now?
Oh yeah, yeah. Those
So tell
are
us about
that was last Sunday.
So where was this? I think there's a
This is
series of photos
yeah,
that you
this was
shared.
in Glendale, California. There's
Nice.
more people like came in a little early, and
Uh-huh.
they had other appointments to go to, so they left early. We had about over 40 people there in the small room we have. Yeah, and of course, we had our caravan. This is one of my face-to-face presentation in Cerritos, California.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Yeah. I think one of the most inspiring things about like the photos that you've shared is that for people seeing these photos worldwide, it's a familiar sight, right? It's us talking to people face to face. Like it's the same conversation that happens from Kuala Lumpur to the Philippines to Kenya to Brazil to everywhere in the world. We are sharing this as much as we can. Uh, Dr. Peter, I have a question for you personally. So, when you
Sure.
recommend people use the iTeraCare, how do you suggest that they use it?
Most people like when they first see the device, of course they were very skeptical. Keep in mind that people are not used of seeing a device to be, uh, for that use for their physical problem. But I say that a small explanation to that is, the device is actually I would say, non-medical, not approved by FDA. But if you know that you guys actually go to the doctor and spend all this money, and you drive to the hospital or clinic and spend all this money on medication, and then it might work temporarily, but then you're back to medication again. Then I tell them that this device actually is something that is, you don't have to take any medication, just, use it every day. Um, it actually emits frequency. And I tell them a little bit, explain to them, what frequency is. And, but mainly, I think my story that what sells the most to people, that if they see the device itself, and what I do is I actually plug it into the wall and turn it on. And then when I turn it on, I focus it on my hand and some part of my body. And I said, you know what's happening right now? And I said, this device, this terahertz frequency device, actually enters your skin, your muscle, your ligaments, all the way to your cellular level. And it vibrates 1 million times per second. And when that happens, I said it generates new cell in our body. It creates perfusion, circulation, in our body, and bring a lot of these new nutrients and energy in our vital organs. And as a result of that, pain start to go away. That's basically it. A very simple one.
Yeah. How do you recommend that they use it every day? Like, do you tell them to follow the points, or do you tell them to use at a certain frequency? Or
Yeah, I make it simple. I said, do you have 20 minutes a day? Out of your wake up hours, do you actually have 20 minutes a day? And for most people, I already know the answer to that, right? So I tell them just to follow the meridian points, 10 points in your body. First, I tell them that the water is just as important as the terahertz, as the device, because the water, becomes very clustered sometimes. And then after you actually hit that with a device, they become linear and they go straight to your veins, as opposed to like the water sitting in your stomach. Sometimes people are bloating from drinking so much water. And a lot of people have noticed by charging the water, they feel better. They feel a lot of energy because that water goes straight to their vein, and that gives them perfusion and energy and circulation better, and hydrate them because the device emits heat and air, right? So when your body is hot, you need to hydrate that. So
Mhm.
yeah, so to be very simple. And some of the old folk, they don't want to hold their device. I tell them to buy the holder, something you can buy at Amazon for very cheap, about 30 bucks, I think. And there's an oscillating blower stand as well that's available right now. If you don't want to hold it, you can just sit there in the comfort of your home and have that device just turn it on and just getting all that terahertz frequency in your body while you're watching TV. So make it simple.
Very cool. What else do you share with them? I think this is very interesting and useful for a lot of people listening.
You know, some people are they just want to use the device, and you probably guys know that, right? And some people wants to make money as well. Okay, they ask me if there are money to this, and I say, well, if you want to share this device to people, I think the biggest one that you can get out of this device is actually to get back to your lifestyle, be able to walk again, and to be able to do things that you love to do. And some of the old folks I see in their living room, they can't even go places anymore. They just sit there and watch TV all day long. And now suddenly the device, after they use it for a few months, and sometimes some people are even early, like a week or two, and they feel the results already. Now they get to go to restaurant and go to drive to places and stuff like that. And I know some people who, what I do also is they're not going to be alone because I'm constantly calling people as well, whether they use the device or not. Because other people, when they get better, they put their device in the box and they don't use it anymore. And then the
Mm-hmm.
pain hits
Mm-hmm.
again. Now the
Mm-hmm.
pain is even greater. Okay,
Uh-huh.
as opposed to like having to use this 20 minutes a day, and
Mm-hmm.
that's basically your maintenance. Instead of taking your maintenance as a medication, this is a
Mm-hmm.
blower that you can use
Mm-hmm.
for 20 minutes a day. For cry out
Mm-hmm.
loud, 20 minutes a day is nothing. To
Mm-hmm.
feel better, to get energized, and to be able to do things that you love to do and enjoy your family, their birthdays and holidays and whatnot. There's so much you can tell them that life is good, and to be able to
Mm-hmm.
back on your feet and be able to do things again, like like you feel young again. I think, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, some of the people, the things that I do, they don't believe that I was able to do it at my age. But I ride a bike 40 miles a day. I can lift. I can. I mean, it's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
healthier than 20 years ago. I mean, for that device that you pay for it, my goodness, I would use that as low, as frequent as I can. And one thing though, I know a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are busy, especially in the US. I said, leave that device on the holder. That way, when you wake up in the morning, you see it already. And then grab it, turn it on while you're drinking coffee before you go to work, and just use that device for like 15, 20 seconds, even 15, 20 seconds. And then, you know what people have noticed? They get energy at work.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they need to do. They don't have to spend 20 minutes or half an hour doing it and trying to make this as a project. No, it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it on 20 minutes a day, hit the road, go to work, and then when you get home, then you have the time in the world to spend with your iTeraCare device before you go to bed. Now, get this.
Mm-hmm.
Always drink the water before you actually use the blower, because what I've noticed to a lot of people is they
Mm-hmm.
actually suffer a little bit of headaches in the morning when they use the blower and they don't drink the charged water. So when I get a phone call saying, I get a headache with this device, and I say, did you drink your water? And they said no. Okay, so drink your water. Okay, the water is just as important as the device.
Thank you so much. We have a couple questions actually. One from Yilan. So for your condition affecting your spinal nerves, were there any special protocols that you used? How did you use it for yourself?
I do the 10 meridian points
Mhm.
always. That's in general every day. And then your inflammation, where your pain is, spend about 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes or even 20 if you can, if you have time. And I've noticed that the more you hit your bone and your body, with the same area, the better you become, you know. And for the knee part, you don't want to blow on the kneecap, right where the bone is, where the patella is. You have to go around that bone. Okay, if you have a bad knee or sore knee or some kind of problem there, just blow that around the kneecap or the patella for 5 minutes, and then spend another 5 minutes in the back of the knee. And I've noticed that most people actually get better with that if they do that regularly.
That's
So for
that's
me, in my
very
case,
interesting. Yeah.
I do it on my spine in the back.
Uh-huh.
So I have this oscillating blower holder, and I have the other blower too. And I just put it on a stand, and I stand there, and I just move my body side to side, up and down. But now I have the oscillating blower holder, and this thing moves actually up and down my spine and up and down my hip. And I also suffered um, plantar fasciitis because of my nerve issue. I suffered knee pain. I suffered sciatica, frozen shoulder, neck pain, and arthritis. So all of those were gone. But the best thing I think that I did to get my alleviate all my pain was the spine, because the spine regenerates your stem cell a lot more. So just blow it on your spine constantly after your meridian points. If you have 10 more minutes, just blow your spine continuously every day.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Let me take this question from Ramesh. Ramesh, our devices, you can use them for at least 5 to 7 years without having any issues. A lot of the first generation classics we've had still continue to work. We don't have a specific number of limiting hours. Just take care of the device and you can keep using it. They come with a 1 year warranty. Eileen, for the oscillating blower holder, uh, talk to, I suppose, your upline or your branch from whichever country you're from. And another question from Eileen as well, and this one for you. So, how would you talk to someone who's not necessarily sick? Like if they're sick, they can really see the change that they will have, but how do you get someone to just start maintaining?
Well, I would say, how can you assure that there's nothing wrong in your body? How many people we have seen at a young age, they look good, they exercise and all that, and then the next day they die. You can't guarantee life. You don't know what's going on inside your body, but that this device will actually fix all your imbalances, and so much of your DNA. If your DNA is bad, you know, one of the siblings will probably get it. One of the guys said that, I have a lot of inheritance from my parents. They gave me diabetes, renal failure, hypertension, and everything else. So, but right now they're using the device, and they're actually better. So just say, you know what? Um, well, how much is the classic now? 420, I think, here in the U.S. And I always say, how much do you think is your life? What is your life's worth for you? All right. How many people at a young age they die? For the most part, they say I know a lot of people who actually die young. And how can you even
Mhm.
guarantee that you can wake up the next day? And how can you guarantee, from crossing the street from one end to the other, you can actually make it to the other side? There is no guarantee in life, guys. But one thing for sure that I can tell you, if you use this device, something is going to happen for the better, you know. And I also believe that this device would erase our DNA. Why is that? Because all the bad DNAs, once you use this and they go bad, they become dormant, they die, and you get rid of it by defecation, by urination, and then replace this with a new blood, with new cell, new DNA in your body, the healthy one. That's I think that's the big one right there. When your DNA are gone because of bad family history, now you have this device that can regenerate new cell in your body, and that is big for me.
Thank you, Dr. Peter. Closing off, I have so Jen, I would say about 5 to 7 years, you can use them without problem, assuming you take care of them well. You need to take care of them well, don't drop them, use them properly. Uh, Dr. Peter, as a final closing question, after you've gotten better, what's your favorite part about your life and what's your favorite memory that you've made since you've gotten back on your feet?
Okay, since I got married in 1983, I promised my wife that I will date her, take her out for whatever movies or dinner or whatnot every Friday. And I've done that over the years of my life. We never missed, not even once. But then when I got hurt for 4 years, that has stopped. Could not even drive her to places anymore. And I promised my wife the only reason why she married me, and I promised her that I will take care of her for till the day I die. But look what happened to me. She's the one who's going to take care of me, and the cow's sitting there all day long. And that alone gives me a lot of mental problem. But thank God that iTeraCare helped me out and be able to get back on my feet. To be able to spend time with your wife, that is to me priceless. I love to travel. Yes, I got better. Uh, Before I could not even sit for 30 minutes, nor stand for 30 minutes. And then the first thing we did when I got better is we flew to Europe. And that was like 14, 15-hour flight. Did not have the pain at all. And you know what? The sad part is I forgot the device. I did not bring my device with me. So I was there for 3 weeks and I had no pain and flew back to LA with no pain. Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
That was something.
That sounds something. I can hear the joy in your voice. And honestly, like for people who are getting up there in age and they're starting to experience a lack of mobility, like taking care of it before it gets worse is definitely the most important thing. People
Oh
who
yeah.
have been in your shoes truly understand the pain of what you're talking about.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing?
Yes,
I
please.
have a friend that I work and we've been buddies since probably way back in 1981. We're in the same department. We worked together. He was my best man in my wedding, a good friend of
Mhm.
mine. And one day I get a phone call from him, and he tells me that he actually um, got diagnosed for pancreatic cancer. And he wasn't even retired. He was barely 57 years old. And you know how that goes. After 6 months, he went. Did not have the device yet at that time to help him out, at least. So don't wait until it's too late, especially some of these
Mhm.
really deadly diseases that we can't avoid. iTeraCare will probably not even a good one to actually for you to get better 100%. But I have so many experiences with people that are stage 4 and they were diagnosed with all these bad diseases and they were given like months to live. They started buying this Magneseek and all of these expensive blowers that we have. Um, Most of them, they're still alive. And some of them, they live like 8 months to a year, a good quality of life with their family, as opposed to like dying in 2 weeks. So the device, you never know. You never know what this device can do to you. We have a lot of stage 4 cancer that now they're cancer free, and to me that's mind boggling. That's like to me unbelievable that can happen. You know, Pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, you know, kidney and liver and all that. That's kind of dangerous at some point. Cervical cancer, uh, that's kind of hard. But I guess it's what you believe. If you believe you're gonna get better, that's even a plus. And having the device on your hand, just believe that something is going to happen for the better.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Peter. We really appreciate you. Before we let you go, I'm gonna play a song. I'm gonna play your song as the closing song. Would you like to tell us a bit about this song before I play it?
When I got better, I'm actually a not only an instrumentalist, I'm a lyricist and a composer. So most of the songs we had back in high school, I created most of the songs. So when I got better, that's the first thing I thought in my mind that, I will create a song that is so impactful to people, not just a song, but something that they can hold on to the meaning and the message of the song. Because that song actually hits a lot of people and it hits me. Even now, I'm still listening to it. It hits me every single time and I get emotional. So sometimes I don't want to get in front of many people because I get so emotional talking about my story. But let's have it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Peter's song, Pride Saves Lives. Wait, am I sharing sound? Okay.
In a world that's moving faster every day, people searching for a better way. Tired bodies, hearts that long for hope, looking for a chance to cope. Then a light began to shine so bright, a gentle wave of healing light, a spark of hope, a brand new start, touching lives and healing hearts. It's more than just a dream we see, it's wellness for humanity. Bright light wave shining bright, bringing hope and bringing light, energy flowing through and through, awakening life inside of you. Feel the warmth, let your body restore, open the door to something more. Together we rise and share the care. Bright light wave everywhere, from every nation, every land, people reaching out their hands, stories rising day by day, lives transformed along the way. One small spark can light the flame, hope and wellness we proclaim, sharing faith and unity, building stronger families. Together we believe and see a brighter world for you and me. Bright light wave shining bright, bringing hope and bringing light, energy flowing through and through, awakening life inside of you. Feel the warmth, let your body restore, open the door to something more. Together we rise and share the care. Bright light wave everywhere. Hope is rising, hearts are strong. We are where we all belong, helping people hand in hand, changing lives across the
Thank you, Boogie.
That was a beautiful song. Thank you, everyone. I have shared the Google Drive link for the song in the chat. You can download it and you can view the recording of this talk as well as all of our other recordings in the YouTube channel link that I've shared as well. Thank you so much for the song, Dr. Peter. I hope you're reading the comments. There's a lot of people in the comments really appreciating the song, finding it very beautiful. May you always stay healthy and well to be able to bless others. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us and staying so long. I will see all of you again next week. So, goodbye everyone. If you can just turn on your camera so we can wave goodbye at each other. It's always a fun little thing to do to see some real faces. Hi Donna, I see you. Hi Nora. Hi Rashida. Hi Eileen. Hi Susan. Juja Wellness Gallery, we see you. Hi, Nervelin, Marietta, Jalivia, Lena. I see all of you. Thank you so much. Hi, Apolinar. Thank you so much all for joining us on this call. We will see you again, same time next week with yet another sharing from another amazing person. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Peter, for joining us. Goodbye.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Good night. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Dr.
Okay,
much.
everyone.
Peter.
And hi,
Thank you
Ramin. Good
so
night.
much. Okay,
Hi,
bye-bye.
Rosemary. I see you. Good night, everyone.